One small, itchy spot on your skin could be your body's first cry for help. If you're over 60, you cannot afford to ignore this. If you're over 60, you've likely already faced more than your share of battles. You've weathered storms others can't imagine. Divorce, grief, a career you gave your life to, children grown, some distant. You've rediscovered yourself, or maybe you're still trying to. You've finally reached a chapter where peace should be your companion, not fear. But this subtle change on your skin, it could be the beginning of something far more serious. Because skin cancer doesn't always arrive loudly. It doesn't knock on your door. It whispers. It whispers through a stubborn itch. A sore that never heals. A mole that changes when you're not looking. And for millions, those whispers go unheard until it's too late. Today, we're not here to panic you. We're here to open your eyes, to help you hear the whispers. We're talking about the early signs, the overlooked symptoms, and the quiet killers that hide in plain sight. Not just for you, but for someone you love, someone who may be brushing it off the way you might. Because this is not about vanity. It's not about looks. It's about your life. We're about to explore what happens when your body tries to warn you and you listen. And we'll also look at what happens when you don't. This is not just a medical lesson. It's a wake-up call. The difference between early detection and a late diagnosis is often just awareness. Knowing what to look for, knowing when to act, and knowing your life is still worth protecting at any age. So if you've noticed something unusual on your skin, or someone you care about has, don't look away. Don't wait. This may be the most important 2 hours you spend today. Because one small, itchy spot could be nothing, but it could also be everything. Let me tell you about Harold. He was 72, quiet man. The kind who read the paper every morning, always trimmed his lawn, and never made a fuss about anything. Behind his left ear, he had this little spot, barely the size of a pencil eraser. He thought it was just dry skin, maybe a rash from his glasses. It itched from time to time. Sometimes it bled a little when he scratched it. But Harold didn't like doctors. He didn't like bothering anyone. So he just left it. His daughter, Melissa, noticed it one weekend when she visited. She asked about it. He brushed it off, said it was nothing. Old skin, he joked. She didn't push. 6 months later, he was in the doctor's office. That nothing had grown. It had changed color. It had edges. It turned out to be melanoma. Stage 3. It had spread into the surrounding tissue. They started treatment, but the doctor was honest. It would have been a simple removal if they'd caught it early. But now it was a fight. Melissa still thinks about that moment. That weekend she saw the spot. She says she wishes she'd insisted. Dragged him to the clinic. Asked better questions. She didn't know what to look for then. She does now. Then there's Evelyn. She's 68. Lives alone. Widowed young. Doesn't have kids. One morning after brushing her teeth, she saw something new on her collarbone. It wasn't there the month before. A little pink patch. It wasn't painful. Just a little odd. She didn't wait. She took a picture. Sent it to her doctor's office. They told her to come in. Basal cell carcinoma. It was cancer, yes, but it was still in its earliest stage. They removed it completely in one outpatient appointment. No radiation, no chemo, no long battles. She says she's not a health nut. She just listens to her body now. She learned the hard way that it's not dramatic to ask questions. That early doesn't mean scared. Early means alive. 2 people, 2 spots, 2 very different outcomes. It's never about being alarmist. It's about being aware. And it's not just about you. It's about the people who love you. The ones who would trade anything for more time with you. How many Harolds are out there, ignoring that spot behind their ear? How many Evelyns are catching it just in time? Which one are you going to be? Look, I know you've probably seen spots on your skin and brushed them off. We all do it. We think, it's just age. My skin's thinning. Maybe a little rash. Nothing serious. But there's a reason you're here watching this. Something told you to pay attention. So let's do that together. Let's talk about the signs, the ones that matter. The ones that can sneak up when you're not looking. The ones we must take seriously. First, persistent itchiness. Not just dry skin. Not the kind that goes away with lotion. I'm talking about that nagging, weird little itch that keeps coming back to the same spot. You scratch it. It stings. Maybe it even bleeds. You wait a few days and it's still there. That's not nothing. Your body is trying to speak to you. Are you listening? Now bleeding without cause. This one's easy to overlook. You touch a spot and suddenly there's blood. You didn't bump into anything. You didn't scrape it. But it bleeds. Maybe it crusts over. Maybe it scabs and then, guess what? Next week it's bleeding again. That is not just getting older. That is a red flag. Let's look closer now. Lesions that change in color, size, or even shape. Maybe it started out light brown, then got darker. Maybe it was flat and smooth, but now it's raised. Maybe it's got uneven edges, like someone took a shaky pen and traced around it. These are not harmless changes. These are shifts that dermatologists look for. And here's the truth. If you catch them early, they're often treatable. If you don't, they could turn deadly. Now take a look at asymmetrical moles. This is a big one. Hold a mirror to it or take a photo. If you folded that mole in half, would both sides match? If they don't, that's a warning sign. Harmless moles tend to be symmetrical. Dangerous ones, not so much. Let's pause for a second. Have you checked the back of your ears lately? What about under your arms? The bottoms of your feet? These are places people never think to look, but they matter just as much as your face or hands. Skin cancer doesn't play favorites. It shows up wherever it pleases. You still with me? Good, because now I want you to really think. Has something been bothering you, some spot you've been meaning to get checked out but haven't yet? Or maybe someone close to you has one. That patch that keeps itching, or that scab they won't stop picking at. Don't wait. That moment of doubt, that inner voice saying, I'm sure it's fine, that's the same voice that leads people to delay until it's too late. I know this is uncomfortable. It's scary to look at your own body and wonder what's going on beneath the surface. But isn't it scarier not to know? Isn't it scarier to find out too late? We're not talking about cosmetic blemishes. We're talking about signals. Quiet, blinking lights from your body saying, hey, something's wrong. Look closer. Knowing what these signs look like, remembering them, could make all the difference. Persistent itchiness, bleeding without injury, changing lesions, asymmetrical moles. That's your checklist. That's your defense. That's your lifeline. So what now? Take a photo of anything that seems off. Compare it over time. Set a reminder in your phone to recheck in a week. And most importantly, talk to someone. A doctor, a dermatologist, your spouse, your child, anyone. Just don't stay silent. Your skin is talking. It's time to listen. Let's talk about the places most people never think to check, especially older adults. You'd be surprised how often serious warning signs hide in plain sight, just out of reach, just out of view. But not out of danger. Let's start with the back of your ears. When was the last time you really looked back there? I mean, really looked. Not just felt around or scratched when it itched, but actually looked. Most people don't. It's out of sight. But guess what? It's one of the most common places where dangerous skin changes go unnoticed. The skin is thinner there. It's exposed to sun for decades. And yet, we ignore it. We wash around it, dry it off with a towel, but we don't inspect it. You need to grab a handheld mirror or stand in front of the bathroom mirror with another one. Tilt your head. Get the angle right. Look for anything flaky, dark, shiny, or irregular. If you can't see clearly, ask someone. Ask your daughter, your partner, a friend. Say, can you check behind my ears? I just want to be safe. That simple question might save your life. Now the scalp, the hairline, underneath your hair, especially if you're balding a little. This area takes in sun every single day without sunscreen, and we rarely ever check it. You won't feel most of the signs there either. They won't itch. They won't hurt. They'll just be quiet and dangerous. Use your fingers. Run them through your scalp slowly. Feel for any small bumps, scabs, or spots that feel different. Then part your hair. Bit by bit, get in front of a well-lit mirror. Or better yet, have someone else help. A friend, your barber, your spouse. Say, can you just take a look at my scalp? I saw this video and it got me thinking. Make it a normal part of your routine. You get your hair trimmed. You check your scalp. It's just another act of self-care. And now your legs, especially the lower part, and your feet, tops, sides, ankles, toes. This is the big one, the most overlooked area. You might look at your face in the mirror every day, but how often do you really sit down and inspect your legs? People assume skin cancer shows up on sun-exposed areas, and sure, it often does. But older adults, especially women, are developing skin cancers on the lower legs more than ever. Maybe because of years of skirts. Or maybe it's just genetics. Either way, don't ignore them. Sit down. Pull up your pants leg. Use a flashlight if you have to. Look for spots that weren't there before. Compare both legs. Look for differences. Look between your toes. Look at the soles of your feet. It might feel strange at first, but it's your body. You're allowed to know what's going on with it. And here's the thing, you don't have to rely on memory. Set a reminder on your phone. Write it on your calendar. Once a month, just 10 minutes, do a skin check. Make it part of your routine. Like brushing your teeth or paying your bills. It's maintenance, but for your life. And if you have someone close, someone who cares, don't be afraid to ask for help. There's no shame in saying, "Can you help me check?" Just to be safe. That little moment of care could be what catches something early. Don't let embarrassment keep you from being safe. Don't let routine blind you to change. You are allowed to check. You are allowed to ask. You are allowed to take control of your health. You've come too far in life to leave something this important to chance. So imagine this. You finally decide to bring it up. That little spot that's been bothering you. You've been watching it. Maybe it's changed a little. Maybe it hasn't. But it's still there and it's still on your mind. You're nervous. That's okay. Most people are. But here's the truth. Waiting doesn't make it go away. It just gives it time to grow. Let's walk through what this really looks like so it doesn't feel so intimidating. You sit in the waiting room. Maybe you're holding your phone. Maybe flipping through a magazine. Maybe just staring at the clock. You keep wondering, am I overreacting? Is this silly? What if it's nothing? But then your name is called. Deep breath. You walk in. The doctor is calm, friendly. They've seen this 1,000 times. You point to the spot. Maybe it's on your shoulder, or your neck, or behind your ear. And you say, "Should I be concerned about this spot?" That's it. That's the question. You're not diagnosing yourself. You're not pretending to know. You're asking. You're opening the door. And that simple question gives the doctor everything they need to get to work. They might take a closer look using a special light. They'll ask how long you've had it. Has it changed? Does it itch? Bleed? Hurt? Don't downplay it. Be honest. They're not here to judge, they're here to help. Now maybe the doctor says, let's go ahead and biopsy it. That's a good thing. It means they're taking it seriously. You might feel nervous, but here's what a biopsy really is. They numb the area. Takes just a few minutes. They remove a small sample of the skin. That's it. You go home the same day. In a few days, the lab sends results. Could be completely benign. Or it might be something early, something that needs to be removed but hasn't spread. Or it might be more serious. But the key is you caught it. You acted. You didn't ignore it. And now you have a plan. If you're nervous, it's okay to say, "Can we biopsy this just to be safe?" Doctors respect that. You're not being dramatic. You're being careful. You're taking your health into your own hands, and they're there to support you. And if you don't know what to say, just show them. Point. Ask, "Does this look okay to you?" That's enough. You don't need to have the right words. You just need to ask. Also, don't wait until your next physical. If something feels off, call the office. Ask for a skin check. It's your right. You don't need permission. You don't need a referral from your family. You don't need to justify it. You're allowed to say, I'd like to come in. I noticed something, and I just want to be sure. You owe yourself that peace of mind. Your skin is the largest organ you have. It tells the story of your life, sunburns and scars, wrinkles and freckles. It deserves to be watched over, cared for, protected. So go ahead, make the appointment, ask the questions. Don't worry about sounding silly. Worry about staying silent. You've lived too long and come too far to ignore what your body's telling you now. You're not fragile. You're not weak. You're wise. That's what the years gave you, not just memories or wrinkles or laughter lines, but the kind of wisdom that says, I've seen enough to know when something's not right. And that wisdom? It's powerful. It's what leads you to ask questions, to make that appointment, to look closer even when it's uncomfortable. Listen to the voices of those who did just that. Eleanor, 74, smiles as she tells her story. I almost ignored it. Just a little rough patch near my ankle. It didn't hurt. It didn't bleed. But something told me to get it checked. And it was cancer, but caught early. I had a small procedure and that was it. No chemo, no radiation. I'm fine now. And I'm so glad I listened to myself. Then there's Raymond, 69. I lost a brother to melanoma. So when I saw that spot on my temple, I didn't wait. My doctor caught it early. I'm here because I didn't talk myself out of going. These aren't just stories. They're proof. Early action works. It saves lives. It changes the ending. You don't have to be afraid of the unknown. You just have to face it. And you don't have to do it alone. Talk to your kids, your partner, your friends. Tell them what you're watching, what you're checking. Make it normal to care about your health. Let them see you take action. That's not weakness, it's courage. You deserve peace, not worry, not regret. You deserve the kind of peace that comes from knowing you acted in time. The kind of peace that lets you laugh a little louder, walk a little further, and sleep a little easier. And if you've been through heartache, if you've started over after loss or retirement or a broken marriage, then you already know how strong you are. You've already done the hard part. This is just maintenance. This is making sure you get to enjoy the next chapter healthy, strong, and fully present. Your story's not over, not even close, and it doesn't have to end in fear. It can end in strength, in joy, in being the one who caught it early. Who took the step? Who stayed? Don't let fear hold you still. Let hope move you forward. Have you ever noticed a spot like this? One that itched a little too long, maybe bled once or twice, maybe just didn't sit right with you? Share your story in the comments. You never know who might be reading. You might help someone just like you. Someone who's been wondering, waiting, unsure if it's worth the worry. This is how we look out for each other. This is how we turn fear into action. If this resonated with you, if you found value here, hit that subscribe button. This channel isn't about hype or fear, it's about health, healing, and happiness, especially for those of us starting over. Whether that's after heartbreak, retirement, loss, or just waking up one day and deciding it's time to care for yourself a little more. We're here every week with real stories, real insight, and a reminder that your life is still unfolding.